Hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm Andrew. Travis couldn't make it here today for this video, but just kind of getting right into it. This week two is officially underway as the Houston Texans beat the Cincinnati Bengals in an ugly Thursday night game, 13-9. Like I said, it was a pretty ugly game overall throughout the majority of the game. So just oof, it was a tough watch, but some of the things that I got from this game is the Shaun Watson making his first start, his rookie debut in his second game. He took over for Tom Savage in Week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jaguars were just all over the Houston Texans that game, and it was a mixed bag for me with Deshaun Watson in this one. I thought he made a couple nice plays. Obviously, his long 49-yard touchdown run was very impressive, showing his mobility, showing his speed, showing his poise in the pocket when pressure's on him. But other than that, I thought he made a couple really bad throws, especially in the first half. A couple would-be pick sixes at the Cincinnati Bengals had a competent team going for them this year. But I think he's just not ready to me yet. At least in my opinion, the offensive line is really shaky. They only had 3 wide receivers healthy, so that's kind of a factor into it. But kind of similar to what he did in college, he started the game slow and kind of got into a rhythm as the game went along. And he made a lot of nice throws to Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins, late in the game to kind of seal the win for them on that long drive they had to kind of seal that win for them. So a mixed bag for Deshaun Watson. He's got some things to build on. Not sure if he's completely ready yet, but the Houston Texans, they made the move to go start him for the remainder of the season. They can't go back now. If Bill O'Brien continues to do his thing of benching his quarterback for poor play, it's just not going to work with the rookie quarterback. I think they got to stick with him and just go with the rookie mistakes that he's going to have, go with the growing pains of what's going to be there. There are some positive signs here. I'm not really high on Deshaun Watson for starting this first season. He's still got a lot of things to work on, but there were some positive signs. We'll see how he progresses in week 3 next week. On the Bengals side, Andy Dalton, man, brutal out there. John Ross kind of came healthy to kind of help maybe add a spark to that offense, who didn't score in week 1 against the Ravens in an ugly game for Andy Dalton. He threw 4 interceptions, had 5 turnovers overall, and he wasn't much better in this one. He was just inaccurate, didn't look really comfortable in the pocket. J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney were getting pressure on him the entire game. Speaking of John Ross, he had that fumble on his first carry on a reverse play, so that didn't really work out for him. We really didn't see him the rest of the game. I think he got benched, for the rest of the game. But, other than a big play to A.J. Green early in the game, Andy Dalton was really not effective at all. And, some of it was not his fault. Again, the offensive line was kind of shaky. He had a touchdown pass to Tyler Eifert in the third quarter, but Tyler Eifert was standing out of bounds and came back in, which kind of negated that touchdown, which really ended up hurting them later in the game when they were down late in the game and needed to drive to score a touchdown there. But, again, Andy Dalton just did not look comfortable. He's really regressed since Hugh Jackson left for Cleveland. I'm not sure if that's just the talent around him, but, I kind of thought in our previews at the beginning of the year that the Bengals would struggle because of that offensive line losing Andrew Whitworth and Zietler. And it's showing right now. Their offense is terrible right now. They've only scored 9 points in the first 2 games. Again, against great defenses, too, in the Ravens and Texans, but only 9 points, 0 touchdowns, which is another alarming thing, especially when they're playing both games at home. So this Bengals offense just looks ugly right now. I'm not really a fan of the way they're using the running backs. Joe Mixon, I thought he could get a lot more carries. It's clear that he's the best running back on this roster. Gio Bernard's good in small plays here and there. Give him the ball in space, let him use his quickness. Jeremy Hill, I'm just not a fan of at this point. I think you go with Joe Mixon as a workhorse for them. And they need a running game because the offensive line is not protecting Andy Dalton well enough, and Andy Dalton's just really struggling right now. So it's just really tough for the Bengals right now. I'm not sure how they're going to be for the rest of the season. I thought they would win at least one of these games going into the year, but that did not work out. So some other thoughts for this game. Geo Atkins for the Bengals. Sticking with the Bengals, some positives for them. Geo Atkins was a freaking monster out there. He dominated the Houston Texans from start to finish. I know their offensive line is really not good, but he had a hit on Deshaun Watson before Deshaun Watson made that large scramble for a touchdown that he sent Watson flying. I believe he had 2 sacks in this game. That's correct. He was just a dominant force in this game overall. So looking up here, he had 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, pass deflection. He was just all over the place in this one. 3 quarterback hits as well. So he was on the point, and Geo Atkins has been their most consistent player for them. I also thought that Adam Jones played pretty well, even though DeAndre Hopkins kind of got the best of him later in the game. I thought he played pretty well too. Hopkins just used his size and strength later in the game to kind of wear down Adam Jones. I thought he had a solid game too. It was a tough matchup for him overall. On the Texans side, J.J. Watt is officially back. He's starting to look more and more like the J.J. Watt we thought of 2 years ago when he was a defensive MVP candidate year in, year out. Obviously, it's still going to take some time coming off the back injury, but I thought he looked pretty good overall. Just going over his stats here, he had 6 tackles, pass deflection, a quarterback hit, and he ended the game by absolutely destroying an offensive lineman for the Bengals on a fumble recovery there. So good game for J.J. Watt overall. But again, I mean, that Texans defense was just dominant overall throughout the entire game. I'm not sure how much is that is how good of a defense they are, or just how bad Andy Dalton has been and that Bengals offense has been to this point. We'll see going forward. It was an ugly game overall, though, I thought. Just a lot of bad football, which is what to expect from a Thursday night game where teams don't have a lot of time to rest up and game plan. You're going to see a lot of games like this, especially against 2 defensive-oriented teams. But overall, going forward, the Bengals, they play the Packers next at Lambeau. I think it's another loss for the Bengals going forward. We'll see how this week works out with the Green Bay Packers this week. And then for the Houston Texans, they have another tough game going to Foxborough to play the Patriots. So this is a must-win game, I think, for both of these teams. And the Texans were able to grind one out here in an ugly win. Props to the Houston Texans in this one. So thanks for watching, guys. That's kind of my thoughts on Week 2 game between Houston Texans and Cincinnati Bengals. To kind of recap it here, Shaun Watson, mixed bag. I think there's a lot of things he can improve on, but I think there were some promising things for Houston Texans fans. Their defense is clearly the strength of their team. They're going to ride them for the rest of the season. For the Bengals, their offense just looks really inept at this point. Andy Dalton has really regressed. I'm not sure if he's – I think A.J. McCarron might be getting some more supported here with Andy Dalton's last 2 performances here. But, their defense, again, it's rock solid. So maybe they can get some wins based off of that. Their offense can kind of start to pull their weight. So, again, thanks, guys, for watching. Keep an eye out for our next few videos.